You know, I think one of the funniest stand-ups I saw was with George Carlin, where he says, at every funeral, at some point, someone always says, I know he's up there looking down at us and smiling. But how often should you really say, I know he's down there looking up at us? Because I don't think he made it to heaven.
if Charles Manson died, everybody going to say, well, may the good Lord bless his soul. He in heaven now. Really? Really? And you know, I ain't gonna talk about nobody else unless I put myself out there. I don't know which way I'm going.
Yeah.
But that's why I'm trying to change my life and my lifestyle so I can at least get a shot.
I mean, do you believe in heaven?
I believe it's something, a higher being than what we have here.
Okay. Yeah. Fair enough.
I believe there's a God.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Well, I interviewed this guy named Scott Ross. He's a famous private investigator.
Uh-huh.
He's worked on a lot of cases. Worked on the Michael Jackson case. Worked on the Bill Cosby case, and you know he's basically part of Tom Messero's team. Tom Messero is the lawyer who represented Michael Jackson, represented Bill Cosby,
right,
and was also representing Suge Knight.
Right.
How did you get on that case?
You know, I got a call from a young lawyer who was representing Suge and wanted me to have dinner with him, and I did. And he said Suge Knight would like you to consider defending him, and one thing led to another. And for 7 months, I represented Suge Knight. Then I had a falling out with various people, and I basically withdrew from the case. But, you know, Suge was always decent to me, very bright guy, very creative, a lot of leadership ability, very talented man. And always treated me well, I have to say that. But there were some differences that developed. They're confidential, and I'll leave it at that. But I only have decent things to say about him.
And ultimately, he ended up leaving. Something happened between him and Suge. He didn't really want to get into it, but ultimately he left.
Was it because Suge didn't have the money that he wanted?
Well, it's funny you should ask that, because in our interview, Scott Ross said that Suge was actually considering exposing Tupac's shooter in order to pay for his defense.
But Suge liked to just talk, and one of the conversations that we had was he was trying to figure out how to raise some money. He said he didn't have any money. And again, we needed experts. For example, we needed his eye expert. We needed his doctor, and they're not going to come in for free. And in order to do that, he was talking to me about trying to sell either the information, do a book, something about the Tupac shooting. And those were the types of conversations that we had.
You know, people can call Suge a lot of shit, but I don't think Suge would have put himself in that type of situation, knowing that he's going to jail. I can't see Suge telling to fix his situation. He a lot of things. He's a motherfucker, but me honestly, and you know how I feel about Suge Knight, just keeping it 100, I don't see him doing that. So, but if they say, if the lawyer said that happened.
Well, the private investigator.
Yeah, the private investigator, who am I to judge? So.
Well, number one, you're not exactly finding the cure for cancer here. I mean, everyone already knows who it is.
Right.
Suge just happened to be one of two living people that were in the two cars involved in the shooting. So
a little closer than that, Vlad. He was a little closer.
Well, he was in the car with Tupac.
With not just by being in the car with the murders, but he was more involved than people think. It was the conversations and all that shit that led up to that day, or led up to the demise of these two people. My hands ain't clean, should I say. So it was more to it than that. See, one thing people don't understand, Suge know a whole lot, knows everything.
Right.
But Suge can't talk, because if Suge talks, Suge implicate himself in 99.9% of the bullshit that was going on. So Suge could never talk.
So Suge can't just do an interview and say it was Orlando Anderson.
He can do, everybody understand. Everybody already know it's Orlando.
Right, exactly.
But Suge know that. Suge can't just say it was Orlando Anderson. You know, and I know who's ever interviewing him gonna go way deeper into the situation than, well, who was it, Suge? No, Suge gonna have to explain. He gonna have to elaborate way more than what by just saying Orlando Anderson, and he knows that. But he cannot. 99.9% of the bullshit was his bullshit. So he can't expose anybody or put anybody out there. That's why when people say Suge telling or told, it's bullshit. Bullshit. Suge ain't saying shit to nothing about nobody. He can't afford that.
Well, I mean, we'll see. I mean, supposedly he has a book in the works. He has a documentary or a film in the works. Who knows?
I can see in his book he talking fuck Mark James or some shit like that. But I don't see Suge put nobody out there because Suge is uncertain that, well, if I speak on this motherfucker, is he gonna say whoop the whoop bam on me? Now his stay in prison might be an extra 40 years or a life sentence if he did that. Suge can't afford that and don't want that.
Well, unless he does like a proffer agreement, right?
And then when he come home, then what? There's still no Suge.
Well, I mean,
Life without what you had and don't have any.
well, it's not like Suge was really balling out of control when he got locked up. I mean, Suge
he
had
was
already lost death row. He was already, you know, I mean, the money situation obviously wasn't there anymore.
Suge got people that's taking care of him, got money. He buying motherfucking women's cars from prison.
He bought a woman a car from prison.
Yeah, he buying women cars from prison.
Okay.
So where do you think he getting his money from?
I have no idea. I've never actually spoken to Suge.
Well, I'm gonna say he got good friends like Ray J, and I'm not gonna say that this is what these guys is doing, but he got good friends like Nick Cannon. He got good friends like Ray J. He got some good female friends that who he supported. They're supporting him now. They're in his corner. So
there you have it.
That's a good thing for him.